Hello, everybody, and welcome to another OpenLM webinar. My name is Branislav Potoček. Some of you may already know me. I'm leading the support and services department within the OpenLM. And today I want to talk a little bit about managing the license servers, hopefully remotely. Before I begin, and now I don't know, I was probably muted. So everybody, welcome again. Welcome to another OpenLM webinar. My name is Branislav Potoček, and I'm the head of support and services within OpenLM. And today I would like to talk a little bit about managing the license servers and talking a little bit about the license managers themselves and how they interact with the OpenLM Broker. Because it has come to our attention that maybe this is a little bit of a spot that we have been missing in the past. So, and you can also look forward to another webinar that will also detail the OpenLM agent, because we had some internal discussions, and maybe it's time to bring forth these two extensions to the OpenLM that are, slowly but steadily becoming part of the core product. Before I begin, I would like to ask you if you guys can just write it in the chat or write it in the questions and answers panel to see if you guys know about the OpenLM only as the OpenLM on-premise product, or you maybe know about the OpenLM cloud. Maybe let me know which one would interest you more. And then for the Q&A, we tried last time to have an open Q&A where people were allowed and were unmuted and were allowed to talk. I think this is a good way to do it. So maybe this time we could actually do it that way. Oh yeah, Eric, I know you are interested in the cloud. So if you guys want, we could open the Q&A and actually have a discussion at the end of the webinar. This one, I really want to make it a little bit shorter compared to my other ones and leave more room to questions and answers or a discussion. So without further ado, let me begin. So management of license servers. I want to talk a little bit about the mainstream license managers. That's the topic number one for today. In topic number two, how the OpenLM Broker actually interacts with the license managers. Do a short samplage, short example of what you can actually do through the OpenLM interface and through the brokers to the license managers, how you can manage them. And in point three, just give you a heads up that we are actually talking about, planning a service maybe to provide remote management. It's really in its early stages, and maybe hear your guys' opinions, whether it's something that would be interesting to you. So what are the mainstream license managers? And I am only going to detail here really some of them, some of the most famous ones. You can find all the license managers that we support on our webpage. And it's really not in the scope of one webinar to actually detail all of these, because right now we actually do support a lot of them. So some of the most mainstream ones, and if you've been managing engineering licenses, you know this, are FlexLM, LMX, Dassault Systems License Server, IBM-LM, BetaLM, CodeMeter, Sentinel, many others. So let me open with the one that's most known. It's most widely spread. Almost probably 50% of the applications actually do utilize this one. It was one of the first. And that's FlexLM. OpenLM offers really good support for FlexLM. And if you go to our page and look at the support to license manager, you can actually see into details what is it all that we support. The utilization goes down to a minute. You can see denials for this license manager. This license manager is pretty simple to set up. You can either set it up through a process that's called LMGRD, which creates the licensing system in conjunction with the vendor daemon provided, or you can use the newer version, which is called LM Admin, which does have a little bit of an advantage over the old LMGRD system. It actually does offer you a web interface through which you can do a sort of a basic management of the license manager. And of course, the LM util command, which is actually is the backend. It allows you to manipulate the system, to get statistics of the system, to get usage. And I will show you in some examples how the OpenLM Broker then actually interacts with the LM util command. What's also a staple of the FlexLM license manager is that you get to see the license files in a readable format. And we know that there are some vendors who are a little bit more on the, I want to call it paranoid end of the spectrum who actually do prefer to encrypt the license files. And this is not to say, that FlexLM doesn't encrypt their license file. The actual quantity and the license issue date and the license expiration date, that's all encrypted in the hash. But from the perspective of a license manager, at least when you open the license file, you can see that there are some licenses inside it, and you can check the dates, you can check the quantities. Another staple of FlexLM, which is again supported very well with OpenLM, is the options files, which is FlexLM's and by extension the industry's ways also of calling the authorization rules, because the primary functionality of the option file is to actually create different authorization rules to allow license usage, to limit license usage, to reserve licenses for different groups of users or for the users themselves, and that's about it. I don't like to call it the options files overall when we discuss license managers in general, but I know that from being in the field for a long time, when somebody says options files, they usually mean, that's the authorization rule. That's how you control the FlexLM licensing system. So the other one that's supported by OpenLM very extensively is LMX, and it came a little bit later, and it's pretty similar to OpenLM. Again, it works pretty much the same way. There is a command, there is an executable that starts a license service. There is a command that lets you control the license. Again, there is a readable license file in which you can take a peek into, and you can compare, see what you actually got. Is it correct, the license quantities and the expiration dates that you got from the vendor, and the config files as well. One of the other mainstream ones is Dassault System License Manager, which is related directly to Dassault Systems and all their product portfolio. Again, OpenLM offers quite no sound. I think it's a problem on your end, Ion. I can see my microphone is working. Can everybody hear me? Okay, so I guess then it's just a problem with Ion. I'm sorry about that. So the Dassault Systems proprietary license manager. This one is a little bit of a different beast because it's very closed. Oh, I'm sorry about the dog. It's very closed. You cannot actually take a really good peek into it, but it comes actually with a robust graphic user interface out of the box, which does make if you are not really familiar with command line, or it's not something that you like to do, you can do a lot of the license management through the Dassault Systems license managers just right out of the box. You can see how many licenses you have. You can see your servers. You can see how the servers are doing. You can even get a nice graphical representation of utilization, even though for a long-term proper license management, it's not enough, but at least you can see it. The authorization rule, which is how I like to call it, again, it comes with the Dassault Systems License Manager. We at OpenLM are actually trying to develop a similar interface that we have for the options files for FlexLM, and we would like to extend this support to other license managers so that they can actually be controlled through the OpenLM interface. The Dassault System License Manager, again, can be also controlled through a command line, through the srv command. You can do everything through the command line with Dassault Systems, like with all the other license managers, but it gets a little bit complicated. Again, I will illustrate later in the presentation how the broker actually does interface with this license command and how it can get the information from the license manager. One of the fading ones, and I really wanted to bring it up here because in the past this was used quite extensively and it's slowly fading. It's IBM LUM. If you have been in the engineering world for longer than, I don't want to say 5 to 8 years, you have probably come across this one because one of the key vendors, again, Dassault, was using this license manager before they developed their old one. And it has a graphical user interface, but it's really old, it's really slow, and the support for the newest Windows Server operating system is very, very limited. There are problems with trying to even install it. Other license manager that we do support is BetaLM. This is proprietary to the Beta CA company, who are the producer of ANSA which is one of the main computer-aided engineering software that's being used. OpenLM, again, good support for the BetaLM. There is no graphical user interface to manage this license manager. Everything is controlled through the command line. And there is a command called BetaLM stat, which can, again, I will show you how it interfaces with the OpenLM broker to get all the statistics that you can then see transferred into the reports. Some honorable mentions before we dive into the broker section. That's CodeMeter and HASP. These license managers have one unique thing. They usually come with a USB dongle, which is just another layer of security that's coming from the vendor. The problem with these license managers is when your dongle gets broken, when you get in trouble into the hardware, you actually cannot access the licenses until you replace the dongle support. So that was me just trying to bring forward what's the core, what's being used in the engineering world. These mainstream, we do have a lot more supported. You can go to our webpage into the license manager section. As I said, you can check all the individual ones. But why am I talking about this? In the past, OpenLM came as a core product, that allowed you to be just installed, and you could just through network detection, you could check the license utilization for the mainstream license managers. You could see what's going on, but it's not really the best system, because whenever there is a network issue or something happening to the OpenLM server, you would be facing a data loss. That's why the OpenLM broker started, and that's why I want to talk a little bit about the broker today, why it's so good, and why we do actually consider it now as a part of the main product. And we strongly encourage and recommend, that everybody who is interested in OpenLM also gets the broker, because it's really part of the main product. Because with the broker, you get a lot of extended functionality. For example, if the OpenLM server is down, the broker is installed on the license manager itself, so it keeps gathering the data. You don't lose a single thing. And even if the OpenLM server is working, but there is a network issue, your connectivity is broken, or for any other reason, the license manager itself cannot interface with the OpenLM server, the OpenLM broker will keep buffering the data. And once the OpenLM server becomes available, the broker will stream everything that it buffered, so you are not facing any utilization data. So, like I said, key feature to get metadata, it's installed on the license servers. We do configure it per license manager, and I will showcase you some screenshots of the different license managers configurations. Basically, all the new license managers that we support, either by us evaluating the market, or by you, our customers or our prospects coming to us and asking us about, do you support this license manager? And that license manager, we always try to evaluate. Sometimes it's pretty straightforward for us to add the support of a new license manager, but you should be aware that, yes, we always do the new support through the broker, because the broker is extremely convenient solution for both the US, our customers, and for us to actually gather the data. Now, I do hope that you can see the screen correctly, and I'm sorry I cannot showcase you a real-life installation, but as you probably are aware, that we do have some test systems where we test our installations in, but it's not feasible for us to actually get all the different applications from all the different license managers. So at the courtesy of one of our customers, I was able to take a look at the configuration and take some screenshots, provided I remove some data and showcase this to you. So what you are looking at right now is an interface of an OpenLM broker. As you can see, it is actually running our latest version, which is 21.5. And this broker is streaming data to an OpenLM on-premise license server, and it has configured several license managers. So the first one that I would like to illustrate here is the FlexLM example, which, like I said, is the most mainstream one. And as you can see, the broker is connecting to the license manager on a port, and it is getting data through the lmutil command. The lmutil command is a part of the FlexLM license manager, and the broker is utilizing this command with some parameters to actually get some data out of the license managers. And you will see on my next slide, when we actually executed this command, the license manager is reporting back that it's running correctly on the ports, the license servers are up. So the OpenLM broker knows that the license manager is acting correctly, and can stream this data output to the OpenLM server. The second illustration comes with FlexLM is for data inquiry, which is a more deep command, which doesn't just check whether the license server is up and running, but it actually tries to take some information from the license manager. So again, on another slide, I'm showing you executing this command. As you can see, there are multiple license features, and the lmutil command is telling to the broker that these are the license features that it would find. These are how they are being utilized. And again, the broker can take that information and stream it to the license server. I don't want to make the presentation today too long because I would really like to give you guys more time to ask questions. But as you can see on the left, there are other commands like reread, which does reloading of the license, which is really useful when you change the license file, and you can just reread the license manager instead of having to go manually to the license server and restart the license service. And because restarting the service is always more dangerous than just doing a simple reloading of the license file. You can remove the license file, start the service, and stop the service. The broker is also utilizing the FlexLM debug log file. And this was actually what my plan to say when I was explaining FlexLM. But FlexLM license manager, when it's running, it's doing two things. It's running, and we can use the lmutil command to get the statistic in the real time. But at the same time, you can set it to write, they call it the debug log file, which is basically a log file which records all the activities for this particular license manager, whether the license manager starts, how it reads the license file, how it reads the options file, and every single license checkout and check-in is recorded into this debug log file. So that means that you can actually get the data for all the user sessions from this debug log file. And that's also what the broker is doing here. As you can see, I have set the log file for this license manager to be read by the broker. The DSLS example is when I said that the Dassault System License Manager has a nice graphical user interface, but it can also be connected and controlled through a command line. So here you can again see an example where the DSLits SRV command is being used with conjunction in several parameters to get a status output of the license server by the broker. In the next slide, sorry, I didn't execute the command. I'm sorry about that. Sorry, that was my mistake. But if you execute the command in a similar way as with the FlexLM license system, it will tell the broker what is the current status of the license manager, and then the broker can report it to the OpenLM server. Again, similar command for the data inquiry, which is there for the broker to get at the actual utilization data, what is happening with the licensing system right now. And for the Dassault, you can again enable directly on the license manager, you can enable gathering the usage of statistics data, which if you want to use the broker with the Dassault license manager to get the denial information as well, you need to, again, as you saw with the case with the FlexLM, for the log files portion, you need to point the broker to the folder where the Dassault license manager is gathering the log files. Similar example for LMX, as you can see, the logic on the backend for these mainstream license managers is pretty much the same in every case. There is a command that allows for control of the license manager, or to at least get the status of the license manager, get the information from the license manager. The broker in these points for the status, for the data inquiry, just utilizes these endpoint commands to gather the data. And on the other hand, utilizes the log files created by the license managers, seeing the sessions, the check-ins and check-outs of the licenses into the log file. And then it takes the information, it streams it to the OpenLM server. This is one of the last examples that I wanted to show. It's for BetaLM. Again, we are utilizing the BetaLM stat command to read the status. In this case, it's actually showing us also how the licenses are being used. Now I'm going to move on and actually do a quick showcase of the OpenLM Frontend interface, both for the version 5.6 and for the latest version that released version 21. Again, let me reiterate that the broker is required for the functionality that I'm going to show. So with that, let me escape the presentation. Let me go to my OpenLM Frontend. I do hope that you can still see it. Let's see if I can make it maybe a little bit bigger for you. What we are looking at here is the OpenLM Frontend. If you have been using our tool, you are probably a lot familiar with this front end, and this is the license servers part of the OpenLM frontend, which is showcasing us the license servers that we currently have in use. As you can see, for the ones that are supported, and please be mindful that this is our demo installation, so don't mind these red things. You know, in reality, it should not look like this if you have everything correctly. I'm going to pick a FlexLM license manager because that's the one where our support is the best, and this is I'm going to showcase you how we actually utilize, how the server utilizes the broker to control the license manager. The end goal in here would be, and why I'm saying the end goal is because we are not there yet, but we are trying to get there, is that you actually, unless it's a really emergency circumstance, don't need to go to the license server, but you can manage the license server through the frontend. So as you can see here, I do have a button that's called Start, which starts the license manager. I have a button which is called Stop, which stops the license manager. I have a button which is called Reread. What I explained, it rereads the license, and I have a button which is called Files, and this Files actually opens up another interface which allows you to see all the files that the broker is gathering from the license server. So you see we have a log file, we have a license file, and we have an option file. At the moment, what you can do through here is to download and check these files without having to log to the license server. For the license key, you can also upload a new license file directly to the server, so you don't need to log in. And then you can reread it, and you should basically get all the new licenses that are coming from your vendor without actually having to touch the license server. And my last one is, I'm going to showcase it here for you. This is the interface of our latest OpenLM version, which we just released a couple of weeks back. So you can see the increased security is actually decreased the timeout on logging out from this front end. So I had it prepared, I was logged in, and now I need to log in again. I'm sorry, give me a second here. There we go. The interface is a lot reworked in the new version, and I'm going to showcase you how. As you can see, this is again the license server tab coming in the version 21. It's a little bit different. You don't get the sign here anymore. You don't get the button here to start and stop. But we added another button which is called Broker, and here you can click, which actually opens you the broker window where you can scroll between the different license servers that you have configured for the brokers. And in this window, you can get a nice table with information about the license manager. You can see the port, you can see the type, you can see the currently deployed broker version, and the action buttons are on the right side. So again, the actions are pretty similar. You can start, you can stop, you can reread the license file. And as far as the actions, you can reset the broker link. Again, the reread is here, and you can manage the files. As you can see, the manage files window is the same in the newest version as well. We do hear your feedback about this, and we are trying to come up with ways maybe of how to adjust or expand this, but no ETA or nothing certain yet. So that's about it for the showcase. I have one more slide that I wanted to show you and maybe hear your opinion. And if you don't want to share your opinion right now, it's also fine to just approach us. And that's the remote management. So we have been thinking hard internally whether we could offer license management as a service, because we know the world is moving towards managed service portfolio, and maybe you as our customers don't want to do the management no longer with your internal teams. Maybe you would like to move it to a managed service. I'm just in the stage of gathering feedback, trying to hear our customers, our prospects' thoughts, whether this is something that they would be interested in. So would love to hear what you have to say about it. And with that, I would like to kick off the Q&A. Thank you for listening. Okay, so I didn't hear from the chat whether you guys would like to actually talk live, or should I just read the question? So if anybody wants to actually come on a joint discussion with me and has a mic ready, just write in the chat and I'll enable the microphone. Otherwise, I'm just going to read through the questions that we've gotten. So regarding broker, have you updated to manage Altium status requests? Is there any deadline to get this done? So the Altium license manager, as it is supported, but whether it actually can handle status requests, I don't know the answer to this question. Let me write it down, Daniel. Write it down, Daniel, and I will get back to you with an answer. Will there be any labeling available for port names to figure out more easily which application is behind the port in the broker configuration tree? I'll be honest, we haven't really thought about this. So you're saying that you want to have a clear label for every port that you have configured for the license manager. And you want to have this directly in the broker. We are not talking about having the label in the OpenLM Frontend, but having the label directly in the broker interface. Please let me know, Daniel, if this is it. And if so, I will have a look at it. So Mark is asking, can you discuss reporting against Autodesk Cloud name users or a standalone application? Reporting against the Autodesk Cloud is supported, but it requires the OpenLM agent extension. The way this works is basically the OpenLM server is connecting to your Autodesk Cloud to gather the entitlement. And the OpenLM agent, which is an extension that is installed on the end user workstation, is taking care of actually monitoring the license usage. You need to understand, and we know that more and more license vendors are trying to move to the cloud solution and trying to sell it as a good thing. But I don't believe it's really a good. It's not really a good thing compared to a concurrent model. It's probably a little bit less efficient, but this is the status of the world, and it's where it's going. So we understand this requirement. But what you need to understand is that with the standard engineering license concurrent model, when it's a network-based license, and the license is running on a license server, and like I showcased you with the broker, it's recording all the data into a log file where we can grab the log file and just read it, or we can use the LM util in the case of Autodesk, because that's running on FlexLM. We can grab the stats from the license manager and convert it to a readable format, which is what OpenLM is doing for you. It's much easier and doesn't require anything on the user's endpoint. But with the cloud-based solution, there is no central repository of data which would tell us how the user is behaving with the application. So this is why it requires the installation of the OpenLM agent, because the OpenLM agent, as it is running on the end user workstation, it can track the Autodesk process and tell you how much was the application utilized. So it is definitely possible, but without the agent, you cannot do it, not for the cloud. Okay, Daniel, just a second. Yes, the possibility to get labeled instead of port license type. When I have over 15 ports, it's getting messy. Okay, let me write it down, because I think that is actually an interesting user story. Like we don't support it yet, and I cannot tell you if it's really not planned for something that's coming short term, but it's maybe an interesting way. We do plan to actually do some adjustments to the broker interface and to the way that we configure the broker. So yeah, I'm taking it as an enhancement. That's exactly what it is. But I just needed the clarification, because I was not sure if you are really talking about the broker. Okay, so let me mark this as answered. And let's see the question for David. So do you support ESRI and Anyways License Manager? So Anyways License Manager, we support through the broker. And let me check the ESRI. I don't think the support is there yet, but David, I can check for you, because we do have a big document internally, where we track all the supported license managers and everything that we plan to support. So I'm going to write ESRI down and see if we have it on plan, and contact you on your email address. So is there, okay, this is not in the questions panel, but Eric is writing. Is there an easy way for, I'm going to ask the question now that Eric puts in chat. Is there an easy way to upgrade the broker version on the license server, like check for updates and have it automatically update? No, there is not an easy way to do it. At least now through the in the new version, which now also works in the cloud for you, you can check the version for the broker, but no, you cannot automatically update it. And I'm going to write it down as a suggestion. We are using single sign-on. Have you solved two-phase connection with the Autodesk Cloud? No, that's not been solved yet. It's pending with our development team. And again, let me reiterate that we do understand the importance of single sign-on, both coming from our customers towards the cloud of their software vendors, and at the same time also for our customers utilizing the cloud coming from them to our cloud. The problem with the single sign-on, Tora, is that it's not really that easy to implement, because it also you are having a federation with Autodesk that is connected between you and between Autodesk and your organization, and we need to figure out a way how the OpenLM server can actually step into the middle of that to be able to resolve the authentication. So it's we do have a development ticket for it. We are looking at the options on how to implement it, but no ETA yet. Okay. Yeah, thanks for the smiley face. Like, I really do understand why it's important, and we know that especially for our bigger customers, it's not just Autodesk Cloud. When we're talking Autodesk, or you're talking Adobe Cloud, or you're talking Microsoft, single sign-on is simply an industry thing, and yes, we are trying to push it. Keep it coming. We still have plenty of time. Yeah, the management system for the files is, like I said, the best support is going there for FlexLM, but we have several internal development tickets regarding expanding this functionality, and it's not just for the license file, it's also for the start and stop features. We would like to expand it to as many license managers as there are, but it takes time, because we need to analyze each of the grabbing the data through the license manager, especially the mainstream one, is pretty simple. Transferring or editing the files on the fly, that's a completely different beast. And when it comes to actually the last step, starting and stopping and restarting the service, we need to be really careful, because we don't want to get you in trouble. We don't want to have a half-baked solution that actually looks like it acts on the front end, and then it doesn't restart your service properly, and the service goes down. What about the location recognition in OpenLM? It's now able to categorize in which region, country it is based on the time zone, or additional information included in server setup in admin UI. I'm not sure that I follow the question completely. So you want the UI to be able to automatically recognize the location of the OpenLM server? Or you want it to just be able to recognize do you want it to be able to recognize the time zone that the license server is located in, or are you just looking for OpenLM to be able to recognize the time zone that the OpenLM server is in? Oh, so you want to see a map of what you have in which region? Like a report that actually shows you a geolocation of everything. Okay, that's an interesting idea. I'm writing it down. Yeah, but there is not the support is not there for it. But guys, this is another channel for us. Why we are doing these webinars is to come closer to you as our customers. I'm thing you can imagine with such diverse portfolio of applications, and each of the customers is a little bit different and the requirement is a little bit different. So we are trying to utilize all the platforms that we can to actually get the requests, get the questions, get the suggestions. And me personally, I would really love to see these webinars expand into something where we actually can have a common discussion. But if you guys prefer to just write the questions in the chat, that's fine by me. But I would really like to have a proper discussion at some point. Yes, if you want to talk over mic.
Okay, now it will be faster. So the point is that the Go map will be very interesting and helpful to enhance even the reporting hub on the end. Because if we will be able to automatically put, the OpenLM will be able to automatically detect where the server is, or will have a field to recognize in which location, country it is located. Let's say make it like a drop-down list of countries where it is located. Based on this, reporting hub afterwards with the proper categorization of the field will be able to use localization settings to set up the fields appropriately, and all the geolocation features available in many BI tools will basically show the Go map right away.
Yeah, I understand where you're going. Would it also be feasible for you to, if you at least could add the field manually for the license server, or do you want the complete auto detection?
Well, honestly speaking, I asked Oren for that 3 years ago.
Okay,
that enhancement is still not put into place. So I was thinking about that in the old interface where we are accessing the admin UI over server still, and we specify the name of the server, the description, and time zone. We could just add additional fields that will be basically mapped and taken over by ATL to reporting hub, and basically there is no need to smuggle this information like I'm currently doing over the server description, which of course it's getting complicated if we want to move more and more details over OpenLM to reporting hub.
Yes. Okay, so I didn't know you already asked. I haven't been here for that long, but I can tell you that yes, it's not just you that has asked for it, because I remember that I've been working with OpenLM for many years, and expanding the fields on the license server is something that we should really consider. So I have written it down. I will try to find the request and see what we can do about it.
No worries. Ask Oren to find the piece of paper I gave him.
Thank you, Dave.
Welcome.
See, this discussing is much better. So if anybody else wants to just open the microphone and join, you guys are welcome. Meanwhile, I'm going to check Torres' question. So is it possible to log the usage of Autodesk Revit add-ons? I cannot answer that 100%. We would need to investigate, but in principle, it depends if the add-on is actually running as a separate process. If it's just an add-on that's running within the Autodesk process, then no, we cannot detect it, even using Active Agent.
I have one point that aims one of the questions for the auto update. Isn't it possible to enhance OpenLM to store somewhere the software installation and basically shift it with the feature of downloading, uploading license files to the servers, and afterwards include the silent install command
for the broker
to be executed? Yeah, exactly. And basically, everybody loves to switch between 10 to 50 license servers if all are local. And well, if that could be managed over the UI by saying in this few-step way. Okay, send the updated version, which we can control by downloading manually and putting in the proper folder, and just reuse the functions that broker has to upload, download it. Will basically help us to just distribute it. And if there is a possibility, then when the upload is done, click perform the silent update. That would be, well, great, I would say.
I can imagine. So can I ask, how are you doing it now? Are you silent installing it through a SCCM or something similar, or are you just doing one by one manually?
I'm, for instance, doing it manually still, because I tried silent installations, but once it didn't work and I lost some data. So I just avoid to do it now, but basically that is the way to do it in future, and I would like to avoid an additional software center package building procedure, to be honest.
Yes, because you need to go through approvals.
Not only approvals, but a painful way of, we cannot stir everything in the external deployment tools. We need to test it on one server and see how it works. But when it comes to a fully global setup, we might have different approaches everywhere, and we need to cover all kind of circumstances, which software center might not cover, because we cannot predict. I am not a specialist of software center, so it might be difficult for me to get really well working package.
Okay, got it. I completely understand. Thanks for the points.
You're welcome.
Okay, anybody else? Still have some time. Meanwhile, I'm gonna check my last slide, which shows up what's next. The next webinar will be 2 weeks from now by my colleague Sagi. So if you've been with OpenLM for some time, you already know him, and he will be talking about OpenLM reports and how to analyze the data.
One question, Branislav. Do we have finally, inside the new OpenLM, I mean version 21, possibility to download from the UI interface the full list of broker versions?
That's a good question. I need to check that. But let me open the other interface. I don't know all the questions out of my head, but let me log into the test account that I have here and see if we can do it. If not, I'll ask. I have my weekly review with our server development team, so you can be sure that I will be bringing these topics that we've discussed there tomorrow. If I don't have the answer now, I will be able to provide it today. So here we are with the brokers.
Okay, so if you will remove the host, it should burn down all the items you have under monitoring, right?
Yes, but I don't see an export button on this interface. The purpose of this will be to just, have a quick way of checking the versions for you. Export button for the broker versions. Let me try. I exported it. Bring it to my drive. Oh, sorry, I was looking in the wrong folder. Okay, so it does not show the broker. Sorry, no, it doesn't show the broker versions. It just exports all the license manager lines.
Okay. So that would be very useful request, because otherwise we need to go to the database and query it specifically, which I see doesn't work too often well, because it will collect also disabled features, so disabled brokers from other servers, and it's kind of a messy list that, yeah, it's not something that I like to do, but you can imagine how that it's problematic to keep all the servers at the same version of the broker.
Yes.
One more point about the broker version 21. I have read that it's compatible for the older version. Is there any deadline for backward compatibility of it?
It's good that you bring up this question. I'm not going to answer it directly here, but we are preparing a newsletter with reward compatibility for our product. So it will come out in a couple of weeks, where it will detail, because this is a big topic for us, what to support, for how long to support it. So you will know. But yes, the broker is backwards compatible.
Okay.
We have tested it with the versions 5 dot something. So because it's for us, it's a requirement that when you are going to upgrade to the latest version, first you need to upgrade the brokers, because the broker doesn't work. The old brokers don't work with the new version due to the authentication that's on the back end. So first you need to go through the update of all the brokers, and then you can upgrade the server. So that's why the team actually made it a priority to make sure it's compatible with the older versions.
Yeah, but it's kind of important thing, because OpenLM drives 1 to 3 weeks, each 1 or 2, 3 weeks an update, and it's really difficult to catch up.
That's also part of our plans, is to have a clear release note, and we do have release notes now, but making sure that our customers get and it's also part of our newsletter, which you can sign for, by the way, and this you can get it automatically, because there are differences between what are versions and what are updates. So we have our major versions, and we do a sprint-based updates, because these updates are mainly bringing hot fixes and back fixes to some of the things, for example, that we discussed today, on all the bugs that will come from our customers. So checking the release notes is actually the best way. And we are also, we started trying to track and make sure that if there is a patch being released that actually concerns you as our customer, that you get to know about it, that this is the time to upgrade. But if it's something that doesn't concern you, you are welcome to remain on your latest version.
Okay, understood.
So that's a part of what we are doing internally to improve the communication. Because I understand that we are releasing very often. That's because we try to accommodate as many of the bugs and requests as we can. But I can see, especially from a point of view of a bigger company, where you need to plan the updates accordingly, and have your own resources, like if you have your own DBAs or server admins ready, that it's not feasible to do an upgrade every 3 weeks. Eric, the latest broker version is 21.5, but it's not available directly from the webpage, because we are not allowing a direct download of the newer version. If you want to test it with cloud, just hit me with an email. It's not available publicly on the webpage yet.
Branislav, then I have a question regarding the update path. Should we update existing installations, or mainly go with the way of setting up a side system and then migrate it to it?
Which version are you on at the moment?
The latest 5.6.
If you are on the 5.6, my recommendation would be to if you want to go to the latest one, there are some things that we need to iron out. Ping me with an email. We will set up a session where I can give you an overview of what it actually entails, because the upgrade is a bit more complicated this time. But if you have a test installation, I would definitely upgrade that one first. Make sure that everything is running really as you want it, and then we can upgrade the production. For now, we are demanding that the support engineer from OpenLM is present for the upgrade session. Because I don't know if you've seen my last webinar where I detailed, or if you've seen the presentation on our webpage, there are a lot more components connecting together with the version 21, which is the big one is the identity service, and you need to correctly interface it with all the OpenLM extensions that you are using.
Okay, I see. But well, I was also thinking about the system scaling. Then do we need more memory, CPU, and so on?
The requirement has not changed to my awareness, but again, let me double confirm that. I can tell you that the upgrades that we already did were done with the same hardware as previously.
Okay.
No, I can see that. Just a personal thing, you know, I really like doing these webinars, and what me and Daniel are now doing, and what we did last time with Jason, I think this works the best way. So I really encourage you guys, even when we do the next one, don't hesitate, don't be shy. Let's have a discussion. I think a discussion is working best for all the interested parties, because just typing the question, sometimes it can be misunderstood. So I don't think it's as good as when we are interacting together. So something to think about before the next webinar. Anything else? I'm going to take that as a no, give it one more minute, and if nobody has anything else, then we'll close it up for today. Thank you very much for listening. Thanks for the discussion. Thanks, Daniel, for coming out and talking to me. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's better way. I'm slow on writing.
I completely agree.
Okay, so thank you very much, Branislav. Yeah, take care.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good day. Goodbye.